Welcome to Solution 21 Million's Guide to Bitcoin, where we simplify Bitcoin for everyone. All right, today we're diving deep into the absolute core of the network. Its engine room, really, mining and nodes.
So let's jump right into the big question, right? How in the world do you build money without a bank? I mean, think about it. The whole puzzle of digital money comes down to trust. If you don't have a government or a bank or anyone in the middle to vouch for everything, how can you possibly create a system that's secure and reliable? It sounds completely impossible, right?
Well, Bitcoin's solution to this puzzle is just incredibly elegant. It all comes down to a system with two totally distinct but equally vital roles. And if you really want to get how Bitcoin works, you've got to understand these two players. So let's give them some cool names. We can think of them as the guardians and the builders. The guardians, they're the rule enforcers, the auditors, making sure nobody's cheating. And the builders, well, they're the ones actually constructing the history, the ledger, one transaction at a time. And what's amazing is that together, they create this perfect system of checks and balances that needs absolutely no one in charge.
Okay, first up, let's talk about the guardians of the network. We call them nodes. Now, these are kind of the unsung heroes, the silent, diligent backbone of the whole system. Their one job is to make sure everyone is playing by the exact same set of rules.
So, what is a Bitcoin node, really? Well, you can just think of it as a computer. Could be a laptop, a desktop, whatever, that's running the official Bitcoin software. And what it does is it holds a complete copy of the entire transaction history. We call that the blockchain, right? So its main job, its whole purpose, is to be an independent auditor. It's constantly checking every single transaction, every new block, to make 100% sure they follow all of Bitcoin's super strict rules. And this analogy is just perfect. This really gets to the heart of what a node does. There is no single head librarian calling the shots. No way. Instead, what you have are thousands upon thousands of these independent fact-checkers scattered all across the globe. And every single one of them is constantly verifying the information, making sure the whole library stays honest. Now, it's worth knowing that not all nodes are created equal. You've got what are called full nodes, and these are really the gold standard. They download and verify everything, so you get the absolute highest level of security and independence. But then you also have light nodes, which are a lot more accessible for everyday users. They don't need nearly as many resources, because they basically trust the full nodes to do the heavy lifting. So it's a pretty straightforward trade-off. You're swapping a little bit of that top-tier security for a whole lot more convenience.
All right, so we've met the guardians. Now let's turn our attention to the second key group, the builders. If the nodes are the ones guarding the rules, the miners are the ones actually building the ledger that the nodes are inspecting. So the mining process is this constant cycle, happening 24/7. It's basically 4 steps. First, miners grab a bunch of pending transactions and bundle them together into a new block. Then comes the hard part. They all compete to solve this incredibly difficult mathematical puzzle. This is the key to everything. It's what secures the network. After that, the winner, the one who solves it first, broadcasts their solution and the new block out to everyone. And finally, for all that hard work and energy spent, they get to claim their reward, which is brand new Bitcoin plus all the transaction fees from that block.
And let's be clear, this puzzle isn't about being some kind of math whiz. Not at all. It's about pure, raw, computational power. It's basically guessing trillions of numbers every single second. The lottery analogy is perfect here. It's like a massive global lottery. Finding that one winning ticket is insanely difficult, but once someone finds it, it's super easy for anyone else, like all those nodes, to look at it and go, yep, that's the one. That's the real deal.
Okay, so we've got our builders, the miners, and our guardians, the nodes. But here's the million-dollar question. How do thousands of these independent people who don't know or trust each other all agree on one single version of the truth? Well, the answer is the secret sauce of Bitcoin. It's consensus mechanism.
The way they interact is actually really simple, but it's so powerful. It boils down to this. Miners build and propose a new block. Then the nodes inspect it. Every single node independently verifies that the new block follows every single rule. A block only gets added to the official history if the network of guardians, the nodes, all agree that it's legit.
This whole beautiful dance has a name. It's called Nakamoto consensus. And it really combines two genius ideas. The first is what we call proof of work. That's the energy-guzzling puzzle the miners solve. It's proof that they've spent real-world resources, real energy, to create that block. And the second part is a really simple but crucial tiebreaker known as the longest chain rule.
The longest chain rule is just what it sounds like. The network,
by default, always accepts the version of the history that has the most work put into it, which is almost always the longest one. Think about it like you're building with blocks. The tallest stack of blocks is the one everyone trusts, because it took the most effort to build. So, if you wanted to go back and change something in the past, you'd have to secretly rebuild your own taller stack of blocks faster than the rest of the world combined. It's just not going to happen. It's practically impossible.
So this whole system of building and inspecting, of miners and nodes, it creates some really fascinating properties in the real world. Let's dig into two of the biggest ones: security and, of course, energy.
This gives you a really clear mental picture of Bitcoin's security. Every single block is cryptographically chained to the one that came before it. So let's say you wanted to change just one little transaction from the past. You'd have to break open its locked box, and then you'd also have to break open every single box that came after it, resolving that super difficult puzzle for each and every one. That massive pile of cumulative work is what makes the blockchain, for all practical purposes, unchangeable, immutable.
The network also has this brilliant built-in thermostat, a self-regulating feature. About every 2 weeks, the code itself looks back and checks how fast new blocks were being found. If miners were finding them too fast, say every 8 minutes, the puzzle automatically gets harder. If they were too slow, maybe 12 minutes, it gets easier. It's just like a video game adjusting its difficulty. And this is what keeps new blocks coming out, like clockwork, right around every 10 minutes. It ensures the supply of new Bitcoin is perfectly predictable, no matter how many miners join or leave the network.
Okay, so let's talk about the elephant in the room. All of that computational work, it takes a ton of energy. Right now, the Bitcoin network is estimated to use around 138 terawatt hours of electricity per year. Now, to put that in perspective, that's comparable to the energy consumption of entire countries. It's a huge number. So, what's the real story here?
You have to remember, mining is a cutthroat business with super thin profit margins, and their single biggest cost by far is electricity. So what does that do? It creates this absolutely relentless economic incentive for miners to hunt down the cheapest possible power on the face of the earth. And where is the cheapest power? Well, often it's stranded energy, like natural gas at an oil field, that would just be burned off into the atmosphere anyway. Or it's remote renewable sources, like a hydro dam or a geothermal plant in the middle of nowhere that has no one else to sell its power to. The cool part is, the drive for profit actually aligns perfectly with the drive for energy efficiency.
So when you step back and look at the whole picture, the main takeaway is just the sheer elegance of this design. You've got these hyper-competitive builders, the miners, who are kept in check by these cooperative guardians, the nodes. It's this beautiful, interdependent relationship that creates a system that is incredibly secure, totally decentralized, and has a monetary policy that's more predictable than any central bank on the planet. And the craziest part, there is no one in charge.
And that really brings us to the final big question for you to think about. What we have here is a system of money that's based purely on mathematics and energy, not on the whims or decisions of a small group of people. So the question is, how do you think a system like this could change our future? Hey, if this explainer helped you connect some of the dots on how Bitcoin works, do us a favor and hit that like button and subscribe for more content just like this. And definitely drop your thoughts or any questions you have in the comments below. We really do love to hear from you, and it helps get this information out to more people.
And just a quick reminder, of course, this content is for educational purposes only. It is absolutely not financial advice. Please always do your own research and speak with a qualified professional before making any kind of investment decision.
Reclaim your time and future. Study Bitcoin.